Welcome back. I'm Ed Highland. This is WCI-TV, sponsored by Tower MSA Partners. And I've got the pleasure now of being joined by Jim Frerking, who is the VP for Sales, Clinical Solutions for Paradigm. Thank you so much for coming by and joining us.
Thank you, Ed. It's a pleasure to be here.
I want to talk a little bit about, first, your job and also about Paradigm. Give us the synopsis on the company and the importance here in the industry.
Absolutely. Paradigm's unique in the industry. It started a niche about 32 years ago, helping catastrophic workers' compensation injuries, the worst of the worst, really high acuity, high impact workers' compensation cases. And those are difficult for the comp system to handle. There are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of demands medically. And so Paradigm was formed by a doctor, Dr. Nathan Cope. He was a brain doctor who realized there was a gap, and he put some friends together in the medical industry, started putting together medical networks to handle this small niche of very, very serious comp claims. And over 32 years, we've grown to about $1 billion company, and we handle them for a lot of carriers.
Because there is so much technical involved, I get to rely on my cheat sheet just a little bit here to ask the
Absolutely.
question. To talk about catastrophic and severe injuries, of course they bring tremendous uncertainty to the injured workers, the families, the business, the organizations, the communities. How does this uncertainty affect even organizations with high-performing claims programs?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ed. Even the highest performing claims organization, the nature of these injuries is that they're so catastrophic, they take many twists and turns. They take a huge amount of resources, networks, doctors, people, and at the end of the day, they take so many twists and turns, it's hard to know where that claim's going to wind up. So you have questions of cost, questions of how you're going to handle the claim, and then a question of what the end result is going to be. And so even for the highest ranking performers, that's a big challenge. And for newer carriers or carriers without catastrophic capabilities, it's a huge challenge.
I mentioned Paradigm's been doing this for over 30 years now. You've been doing this, proving basically life-changing outcomes. Give us a little expansion, if you will, on what's made Paradigm so successful in this area, in their ability to partner with clients. And of course, partnerships is a lot of what we're talking about here.
Absolutely, Ed, and partnerships are critical. It starts with the people. The way our system works is we have highly trained on-site nurses trained to handle catastrophic care. So they jump on the case right away as soon as it's reported to us and begin working with the family, with the injured worker, with all of the clinicians to really chart a course and a pathway to success. And then we have medical directors in all of the medical specialty areas that begin to work with the treating physicians, with the injured worker, with the family, and in partnership with facilities, the best facilities in the country, to chart out a pathway, markers along the way to know if we're progressing and getting the job done, and then working our way to what's very unique in the industry, and that is a guaranteed outcome at the backside of this case where the carrier, the injured worker, their family know what the outcome of that case is going to be.
Well, to come to a guaranteed outcome, you must have created, as you mentioned, this network, I'll call it, of doctors, of nurses. You've selected and trained all of these folks basically to work as this coordinated team throughout the recovery process. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on the medical management, the teams that are involved, and also this integrated health experience and expertise?
Absolutely. Yeah, our case nurses we call them network managers. And they go far and beyond normal case nurses. There's an 18-month of very rigorous training they go through to become certified in catastrophic care. And they're really the boots on the ground to get the process started. And from there, we call in whatever medical directors are needed, whatever doctors are needed. One of my earliest cases was a flash fire in a restaurant. So severe burns to the upper torso and a lot of eye damage. And so on an early call, we had a burn doctor, we had an ocular surgeon who were talking about, in 6 weeks, how do we come to a point where we can get this person back on track to be healthy. And that level of coordination and care is unique in workers' compensation because most carriers are constrained to their networks and their people. And so we're able to put the nurses in place, the doctors, and then work with the best facilities in the country who partner with us and partner along with us on these guaranteed outcomes to allow us to do what is really our mission, Ed, and that is to provide the best possible life for the injured worker and their family after what is probably the worst moment of their life.
To do what you're talking about doing takes long-term relationships. We were talking about partnerships before. How do you avoid the pitfall, so to speak, of having to have a situation and then, oh, gee, I've got to call this particular doctor or that particular doctor. You have people that have been in place for a while, and like I said, with 30 years, Paradigm kind of knows what they're doing.
Absolutely, Ed. And what I'd say is more so than any place I've been, this is a mission, it's a calling. Again, these families, you had a mother or father that had planned to go to a PTA meeting or a ball game that night, and now one of them is in ICU, the family's in disarray, and someone has to put that back together. And the people I work with at Paradigm see that as a really high calling and mission to do that and do that well. And the people that enjoy that calling don't want to leave. They want to be a part of it. And so it's a joy and a pleasure. The only downside is that something really bad has to happen for us to get involved. But once that does happen, the team comes together, they rally, the people, the physicians, the facilities to help that family and help restore them in a way that's unique.
And how important is it for you personally as well as Paradigm to be here at WCI right now?
It's absolutely critical. We have so many wonderful partners here, and it's a pleasure to see them. New partnerships that we're able to talk about. Even though we've been around for a while, some people haven't heard of us, and it gives us a chance to talk about what we do. And we're always looking to form new partnerships, find new and better ways to help these families when they need us the most. And there's no better place to do it than WCI.
Well, Jim Frerking, certainly everyone's heard about you now, right here on WCI-TV. Thank you so much for coming by and joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Ed.
And this is WCI-TV. I'm Ed Highland. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we're brought to you by Tower MSA Partners.